The huge space station, called Klyros Nexus, floated in the dark between stars. It was one of the biggest places where different alien species met, traded, and played dangerous games. Inside the station, there was a famous fighting place known as the Iron Veil Pit. Crowds from many worlds came there to watch strong fighters battle for money and fame. The seats were filled with rich aliens who had seen almost every kind of fight. Most of these aliens came from soft, safe worlds. The Vexari looked like tall insects with shiny shells and many thin arms. The Quelth were big blobs of jelly that floated a little above their chairs. The Arthak were bird people with bright feathers and sharp beaks. They all liked watching fights, but lately the matches felt boring to them. The usual fighters were big machines or gene-changed warriors who followed strict rules. Nothing surprised them anymore. One evening, the rich watchers sat in their private boxes high above the arena. They drank strange drinks and talked about new ideas to make things exciting again. A Vexari trader named Zekith clicked his mandibles and said he wanted something fresh, something from a real dangerous place. His friends laughed and asked what he meant. Zekith leaned forward and spoke in a low voice. He said there was talk about a new fighter captured from a forbidden world. The world was called Earth, and it was marked as Class 12 Deathworld. That meant it was too deadly for most species to visit. The others looked interested, but also a little scared. They had heard old stories about Earth. Stories said the creatures there were small, weak, and crazy at the same time. A Quelth blob wobbled and asked if the promoters really brought one here. Zekith nodded and said yes. It was a young female human. Her name was Mira Voss. She was only 24 years old and not very tall. The crowd would see her soon, in the parade before the fight. Word spread fast through the station. Betting machines started to flash with new odds. Most bets were against the human. Some aliens put small amounts on her just for fun. Others said it was a joke and she would die in seconds. The promoters knew this and smiled because the bets made them rich. The lights in the Iron Veil Pit went dim. A loud voice boomed through the speakers. It welcomed everyone to the special exhibition match. Tonight they would see something never shown before. A true Deathworlder from Earth against chosen challengers. The crowd made happy noises and clicked claws together. Big screens showed pictures of Mira. She stood in a plain gray jumpsuit with no armor. Her hair was dark and tied back. Her face looked calm, like she did not care about the noise. She was 165 centimeters tall. Her arms and legs looked normal, not big or strong. Many aliens laughed when they saw her. They said she looked like a child playing pretend. The parade started. First came the challengers, one by one. A huge Kragthar berserker walked out, meters tall, with 4 thick arms. Each arm ended in heavy fists that could crush metal. His skin was gray and tough like stone. He roared loud enough to shake the seats. The crowd cheered for him. Next came an Arcthean assassin. It moved fast on 6 legs and had many eyes. Poison glands bulged under its jaw. It could spit venom that melted armor in seconds. The crowd liked this one too. Then more fighters appeared. Some had claws, some had spikes, some breathed fire. All of them looked built for killing. The human's picture flashed again beside them. The difference made everyone laugh harder. Mira walked out last. 2 guards with shock sticks walked behind her. She did not look at them. She looked straight ahead at the bright lights and the sea of faces. Her steps were slow and steady. No fear showed in her eyes. No anger either. She just looked bored, like this was a normal day. The voice spoke again. It said the human would face a series of opponents. First the Kragthar, then more, if she somehow lived. The promoters wanted a good show. They wanted blood and screams and broken bodies. They wanted the crowd to spend more credits. In the luxury boxes, the rich aliens settled back. They opened new bottles and made jokes. One Arthak spread his wings and said this would be quick. He bet 10,000 credits against the human, lasting 1 minute. His friends matched the bet and laughed. Mira reached the center of the arena. She stopped and looked up at the boxes. For a moment her eyes met the eyes of Skith the Vexari. He felt a strange cold feeling in his shell. He shook it off and told himself it was nothing. She was just a soft-skinned thing from a bad planet. The gates on the other side opened with a loud clang. The Kragthar charged out roaring. His 4 arms swung in big circles. Dust flew up from the floor. The crowd screamed with joy. Mira stood still. She did not run. She did not raise her hands to fight. She just watched him come. Her face stayed calm. Her breathing looked slow and even. The Kragthar was close now. He lifted all 4 fists high for one crushing blow. The moment felt frozen. Everyone waited for the end. Then Mira moved. She stepped to the side, so smooth it looked easy. The fist slammed down where she had stood. The floor cracked like thunder. Before the Kragthar could pull back, Mira was already inside his reach. Her hand shot up fast. Her palm hit the soft spot under his jaw, where the breathing slits were. The big alien made a choking sound. His eyes went wide. The crowd noise changed. Some laughed, thinking it was luck. Others leaned forward. Mira did not stop. She grabbed one of his arms and twisted her body. She used his own weight to spin behind him. Her foot came up hard against the back of his knee. The joint popped loud. The Kragthar fell to one leg, roaring in pain. She jumped up. Her elbow drove into the side of his thick neck. Something cracked inside. The alien gurgled and fell forward. His face hit the ground. He did not move again. Silence fell over the Iron Veil pit. Thousands of eyes stared. No one cheered. No one laughed. Mira stood over the body. She breathed a little faster now. A small cut bled on her cheek from flying dirt. She wiped it away with the back of her hand. Then she looked up at the luxury boxes again. Skith felt that cold feeling return. This time, it stayed. The voice from the speakers sounded surprised. It said the first match was over. The human had won. It asked if the promoters wanted to continue. In the boxes, the rich aliens looked at each other. Some faces turned pale. Others showed wide eyes. A few started to type on their betting screens. The odds changed fast. Now more credits flowed toward the human. Mira waited in the center. She did not smile. She did not shout. She just stood there quiet, waiting for whatever came next. The crowd began to whisper. They said her name, Mira Voss. They said it like a question, like something they did not know. Understand. Far above in the control room, the promoters talked quick. They saw the money coming in. They saw the views spiking on every screen in the galaxy. They decided to send the next fighter. The gates opened again. The Arcthean assassin stepped out. Its legs clicked on the floor. Its poison glands swelled. It hissed and moved forward slow. Mira turned to face it. Her eyes stayed sharp. Her body looked ready. The arena lights burned bright. The night was just beginning. The silence in the Iron Veil pit lasted only a few seconds. Then the crowd noise came back louder than before. Some aliens cheered for the human. Others shouted angry words at the promoters. Many just stared with open mouths. The Kragthar still lay face down in the sand. His huge body did not move at all. Mira stood in the middle. Blood from the small cut on her cheek mixed with dust. She wiped her hand on her jumpsuit. Her breathing came steady again. She looked up at the bright lights and the faces above. No smile showed on her face. No fear either. In the control room, the promoters talked fast. Their screens showed money pouring in from new bets. The views from every corner of the galaxy jumped high. One promoter rubbed his many hands together. He said they must keep going. The crowd wanted more. The money wanted more. The voice boomed again through the speakers. It said the human had won the first fight. Now she would face the second challenger. the Arcthean assassin would come. Warned that this fight would be different. Venom and speed against flesh and bone. The far gate slid open with a heavy scrape. The Arcthean stepped out slow. Its 6 legs clicked on the metal floor. Long black body gleamed under the lights. Many small eyes blinked fast. 2 big poison sacs swelled under its head. They pulsed like living bags, ready to burst. The crowd made excited sounds. They knew this fighter. It had killed many before. One spit could burn through steel. One bite could stop a heart in moments. The Arcthean moved side to side. It tested the air with its feelers. Mira watched it come. She bent her knees a little. Her hands stayed loose at her sides. She did not back away. She did not look scared. The Arcthean hissed loud. It reared up on 4 legs. The front 2 lifted high. The poison sacs opened. A thick green glob shot out fast. It flew straight at Mira's face. She twisted her body quick. The venom missed by a hair. It hit the floor behind her. It touched. The metal sizzled and turned black. The crowd roared. They liked the danger. They liked the show. The Arcthean did not wait. It charged forward on all 6 legs, its body low and fast. Claws scraped sparks from the ground. It aimed to grab her and bite deep. Mira ran straight at it, not away, straight toward the danger. The crowd gasped. Some covered their eyes. At the last moment she dropped low. She slid under the charging body. Her hand grabbed a torn piece of her jumpsuit sleeve. She had ripped it off earlier, without anyone noticing. As she slid past, she swung the cloth up. The green venom still dripped from the floor. She got a fresh drop on the fabric. The Arcthean turned fast. It hissed again. Another glob came. Mira threw the wet cloth straight back. The venom hit the creature's own face, right into the cluster of eyes. The Arcthean screamed. A high, sharp sound. It reared back, shaking its head. Poison burned its own eyes. Many of them popped and leaked. Staggered. Blind. Mira was already up. She closed the distance in 3 steps. Her fist hit the soft joint where one leg met the body. The leg buckled. She hit again, harder. The joint cracked. The leg folded useless. The creature swung its front claws wild. Mira ducked under. She grabbed another leg. She twisted hard. Bone snapped. Another leg went limp. The Arcthean fell to the side. It tried to spit again, but Mira was too close. She drove her knee into the poison sacs. They burst open. Green liquid sprayed everywhere. Most of it hit the floor. Some splashed on the creature itself. It writhed in pain. Its body smoked where the venom touched. Mira stepped back. She breathed hard now. Sweat ran down her face, mixing with the blood and dust. The Arcthean tried to crawl. Its remaining legs scratched weak. Mira walked around slow. She looked down at it. Then she stomped once. Her heel came down on the neck joint. Something broke inside. The creature stopped moving. The pit went quiet. Again. Even quieter than before. Only the sound of Mira's breathing filled the air. She stood straight. Her jumpsuit was torn in many places. New cuts showed on her arms. Blood dripped slow. She did not seem to notice. Up in the luxury boxes, Zekith the Vexari clicked his mandibles fast. He turned to his friends. He said this could not be real. Humans were supposed to be weak, small, easy to break. Yet this one had killed 2 strong fighters, without weapons, without armor. The Quelth blob next to him wobbled. It said maybe the stories were true. The old warnings about Earth. The ones everyone laughed at now. A Rathak spread his wings, nervous. He said they should stop the fight, before more money was lost, before more champions died. The promoters did not listen. Their screens glowed bright. Bets kept coming. Some bet against her still. Some bet on her now. The odds swung wild. The human name appeared bigger on every board. The voice spoke again. It sounded a little shaky. Human had won again. The promoters would send more. They would send a pack this time. 6 at once. Bred killers from many worlds. The crowd cheered loud. They wanted blood. They wanted to see the end. They wanted to see if the human could keep standing. Mira looked up at the boxes. Her eyes found Skith again. He felt cold inside his shell once more. This time, the cold went deep. The side gates opened together. 6 shapes came out fast. Big cat-like things with razor claws, long reptiles that spat acid, insect things with electric stingers. They spread out quick. They circled her slow. The pack moved as one. They had hunted together before. They knew how to trap prey. They knew how to kill. Mira turned in a slow circle. She watched each one. Her hands opened and closed. She looked tired, but her eyes stayed sharp. Very sharp. One felinoid leaped first. Claws out, mouth wide. Mira stepped aside. She grabbed its tail mid-air. She swung hard. The cat slammed into another felinoid. Crashed down. Tangled. The reptiles hissed. Acid flew from their mouths. Mira rolled away. She grabbed a broken piece of Kragthar armor from the floor. She held it like a shield. Acid hit the metal. It smoked, but held. An insect charged. Its stinger glowed blue with charge. Mira waited until the last second. She jumped over it. Her foot kicked down on its back. The stinger hit the metal floor. Electricity jumped back into the insect. It shook hard and fell smoking. The pack changed tactics. They came together now, 2 from front, 2 from sides, 2 from behind. Mira ran toward the arena wall. She climbed fast, using broken pieces stuck in the ground. She reached a high ledge. The pack followed. Claws scraped. Acid dripped. She waited. When they got close, she jumped down. She landed between them. She used their bodies against each other. One reptile bit a felinoid by mistake. Acid burned fur. The cat screamed and attacked back. Chaos grew. Mira moved through it. She hit joints. She broke legs. She turned their strength into weakness. One by one they fell. Some bled, some smoked, some twitched and stopped. When the last one dropped, Mira stood in the middle again. Her chest moved fast. Blood ran from many cuts. Her jumpsuit hung in rags, but she still stood. The crowd made no sound at first. Then a few started to clap slow. More joined. Soon the whole pit shook with noise. Not happy noise. Not angry noise. Something else. Something like respect. Something like fear. Mira looked up once more. She did not speak. She did not need to. Her eyes said enough. The promoters watched their screens. Money flowed like water, but some of them looked worried now. They knew the night was not over. They knew they had to send the champion next. The biggest gates opened slow. Heavy steps echoed. A shadow filled the entrance, 3 meters tall, armor thick as ship hulls. Vorath the Unbroken stepped into the light. The crowd went wild again. This time with hope. This time with belief. He would end it. He always did. Mira turned to face him. She wiped blood from her mouth. She stood straight, despite the pain. She waited. The arena lights burned brighter. The real test was coming. Vorath the Unbroken stood huge in the center of the arena. His armor plates shone silver and black under the strong lights. Each step made the ground shake a little. He carried 2 long vibroblades, one in each massive hand. The blades hummed with sharp energy. His helmet had no face, just a dark visor that reflected the crowd. He looked like a walking fortress. The crowd cheered loud for him. They believed he could not lose. Mira stood opposite him. Her body looked small next to his size. Her jumpsuit hung in pieces. Blood covered her arms and legs. Cuts still bled slow. She breathed deep, but steady. Her eyes locked on the champion. She did not move yet. The voice from the speakers spoke again. It said this was the final test. Vorath had never fallen in 147 fights. He came from a high-gravity world where everything weighed more. His bones were thick, his muscles hard as rock. His cyber parts made him faster and stronger. The promoter said the human could surrender now. Shame in it. Mira did not answer. She just wiped sweat and blood from her eyes. She stood taller despite the pain. Vorath raised one blade. He pointed it at her. His voice came out deep and metal. He said she fought well for a soft thing. He said she could walk away alive. He would even let her keep her pride. Mira looked straight at the visor. She spoke calm and clear. Her words carried through the speakers. You wanted to see a Deathworlder fight? Here I am. The crowd went quiet for a moment, then they roared again. Some cheered for Vorath, some now cheered for the human. The betting machines flashed crazy numbers. Money moved fast in both directions. Vorath laughed low. The sound echoed like grinding stones. He said, "Fine," and he moved. He charged fast for someone so big. The vibroblades swung in wide arcs. Air screamed where they cut. Mira dodged left. The blade missed her head by inches. It hit the arena wall. Sparks flew. Metal melted where it touched. She came up, running. She stayed low and moved quick. Vorath turned slow. His heavy body needed time in normal gravity. On his homeworld, he moved like lightning. Here, he felt a little slow. Mira used that. She circled him fast. She darted in and out. She kicked at his knees. She punched at the joints in his armor. Each hit made small dents. Vorath swung again. She ducked under. The blade passed over her head. She came up inside his guard. Her elbow slammed into his chest plate. It rang loud like a bell. Vorath stepped back. He looked surprised. No one had ever hit him that hard. He growled and attacked again. This time both blades came together. He aimed to cut her in half. Mira jumped back. She grabbed a broken piece of reptile scale from the floor. It was sharp and curved. She held it like a knife. When Vorath swung, she threw it. The scale hit his shoulder joint. It stuck between plates. Sparks jumped from the wires inside. Vorath roared in anger. He pulled the scale out. Oil leaked black. From the hole, he charged harder. His steps cracked the floor. Mira ran toward the wall. She climbed fast, using the broken bits stuck there. Vorath followed. He jumped up. His hand grabbed the ledge. He pulled himself high. Mira waited on the narrow platform. When he reached the top, she kicked hard. Her foot hit his helmet. The visor cracked a little. He slipped back. He fell to the sand below. The crash shook the whole pit. The crowd screamed wild. Some stood up. Others banged on the barriers. Vorath got up slow. His armor showed more damage now. One arm moved stiff. He shook it off. He said she was tricky. He said it would not save her. He walked forward again. Slower this time. More careful. He kept his blades ready. Mira dropped down from the ledge. She landed soft and rolled. She came up close to him. She punched the cracked visor. Glass broke more. Something inside sparked. Vorath swung blind. She ducked. She grabbed his arm. She twisted hard. The joint popped loud. The blade fell from his hand, stuck in the ground, humming. He hit her with his other fist. The blow sent her flying. She hit the wall hard. Air left her lungs. She slid down. Blood came from her mouth now. She coughed once. Then she pushed herself up. Vorath came close. He raised his remaining blade high. He said it was over. Mira looked up at him. Her eyes burned bright. She whispered something too low to hear. Then she moved. She ran straight at him, not away, straight into the danger. Vorath swung down. She slid between his legs. She came up behind him. She jumped on his back. Her arms locked around his thick neck. She squeezed hard. Vorath reached back. His big hands tried to grab her. She held tight. Her legs wrapped around his waist. She pulled back with all her strength. The neck joint bent. Metal groaned. Vorath staggered. He slammed backward into the wall. Mira took the hit. Pain shot through her body. She did not let go. She squeezed more. Vorath dropped to one knee. His hands clawed at her arms. He could not reach well. The crowd noise grew louder. They could not believe it. The champion on his knees, a small human on his back. Mira shifted her grip. She found the weak spot under the helmet, the place where flesh met metal. She drove her fingers in. She pulled hard. Wires tore. Sparks flew bright. Vorath roared loud. His body shook. He stood up fast. He ran backward again. This time harder. Mira hit the wall once more. She felt something crack inside her chest. Pain blinded her for a second. She still held on. Vorath dropped forward. He tried to crush her under his weight. Mira rolled at the last moment. She came free. She stood up slow. Her left arm hung limp. Blood ran from her side. She breathed short and sharp. Vorath rose again, slower now. His one arm dangled useless. His helmet sparked and smoked. He picked up the fallen blade with his good hand. He said she would pay. He charged one last time, blade high. Mira waited. When he got close, she sidestepped. She grabbed his arm. She used his speed against him. She spun him around. His own blade came down toward his chest. At the last second, he stopped it, but Mira was already moving. She kicked the back of his knee. The joint gave way. He fell forward. His blade stuck in the sand. Mira jumped on his back again. This time, she found the main power line at his neck. She tore it open with her bare hands. Blue energy arced out. Vorath shook hard. His body locked up. He fell face first. The ground shook one final time. He did not move. The arena went silent. No sound at all. Only the hum of dying cyberparts filled the air. Mira slid off his back. She stood over him. Her body shook from pain and tiredness. Blood dripped from many places. She looked up at the luxury boxes. Her eyes found Zekith and the others. They sat frozen, faces pale, hands still. Mira raised one hand, not to fight, just to say stop. Her voice came out rough but strong. It carried through the speakers. You paid to see a monster. Forgot who raised us. She looked at the dead fighters around her. Every one of these creatures evolved in safety compared to Earth. Your worlds have one or two apex predators. Ours had thousands. Still does. We grew up running from things bigger than him, fighting things faster than your assassins, enduring poisons, diseases, climates that would kill you in hours. We did not get claws or venom. We got stubbornness. We got the ability to keep going when everything says we should be dead. She looked straight at the rich aliens. You feared Earth once. You quarantined us. You told stories to frighten your children. Then you forgot why. You thought time and distance made us safe. You thought one of us in your arena would be entertainment. She smiled small and tired. Now you remember. The feed from the Iron Veil pit cut sudden. Screens went black across the galaxy. Then they exploded with the footage. Over and over people watched. The small human against giants. The calm face in the middle of death. The words she spoke at the end. In the control room, the promoters sat quiet. Their money screens still glowed, but no one touched them. Some looked sick, others looked scared. Outside the pit, security teams rushed in. They carried shock sticks and nets. Mira turned to face them. She did not raise her hands. She just stood there, waiting. The galaxy had just learned something old, something they tried to forget. Earth was never tamed, it just waited. And now, it reminded them all. Security teams poured into the Iron Veil pit from every gate. They wore heavy armor and carried long shock poles. Bright lights flashed on their helmets. They formed a wide circle around Mira. She stood still in the center. Blood dripped from her chin onto the sand. Her left arm hung loose at her side. Her breathing came short and ragged. Yet her eyes stayed clear and calm. The lead guard raised his hand. He shouted for her to kneel and submit. He said the fight was over. She had no more challengers. The rules said capture now. Mira looked at him. She did not kneel. She raised her good hand slow, not to attack, just to signal stop. The guards hesitated. They saw the bodies around her, the huge Kragthar, the twisted Arcthean, the broken pack of killers. Vorath, the Unbroken, lay face down like a fallen statue. His armor smoked in places. They remembered her words from moments ago, the words that still echoed in their ears. In the luxury boxes, the rich aliens stood up, some backed away. Glass, Zekith, the Vexari, clicked his mandibles nervous. His thin arms shook a little. The Quelth blob shrank smaller than usual. The Arthak folded his wings tight against his body. They watched the scene below like it was a bad dream. One promoter in the control room slammed his fist on the console. He said they could not let her walk free. The station had laws. The pit had rules. She was property now. Captured fighter. They must take her. Another promoter looked at the view counts. Numbers climbed higher every second. He said, "Wait. Let it play out. The galaxy watches. More money comes if we do not rush." Down in the arena, Mira spoke again. Her voice carried soft but strong through the speakers. She said she would not fight them, not unless they forced her. She said she only wanted to leave. She said the show was done. The lead guard stepped forward. He lowered his shock pole. He said she must come quiet, or they would make her come. Mira nodded once. She took one step toward the exit gate. Guards tightened their circle. Poles hummed with energy. Suddenly the main lights dimmed. A new spotlight hit the center. A hologram appeared, big and bright. It showed the face of the station commander. He looked old and stern. His skin was gray with age lines. He spoke to everyone. He said the match was unusual. He said the human had broken no rules. She fought as asked. She won as asked. He said the promoters requested escalation. They sent more and more. She answered every time. He said the pit records showed no crime, only victory. The crowd murmured loud. Some cheered. Some booed the promoters. The commander raised his hand. He said the human would be released. No chains, no cell. She earned safe passage off the station. He said the coalition must honor it or face sanctions. Zekith stood up fast. He shouted that this was wrong. He said she was dangerous. She killed champions. She spoke of Earth like a threat. The commander looked at him cold. He said the coalition paid for entertainment. They got more than they asked. Now they must accept the bill. Mira listened quiet. She looked at the hologram. She gave a small nod. The guards stepped back slow. They lowered their poles. One opened the side gate wide. She walked forward. Each step hurt. Her body screamed for rest. But she kept her head high. She passed the fallen fighters. She did not look down. She kept her eyes forward. The crowd watched in silence now. Thousands of eyes followed her. Some aliens whispered her name. Mira Voss. They said it like a secret, like something powerful. As she reached the gate, a small figure pushed through the guards. It was a young human male. He worked on the station as a cleaner. He wore simple clothes. He carried a clean jumpsuit and a water pouch. He held them out to her. Mira stopped. She looked at him. He said his name was Kai. He said he saw everything. He said humans stick together. He said take these. You need them. Mira took the jumpsuit. She pulled it on over her torn rags. Felt soft and clean. She drank from the pouch. Cool water soothed her throat. She looked at Kai. She said thank you. Her voice was low. He smiled shy. He said, go safe. She nodded. She stepped through the gate. The corridor beyond was quiet. Lights glowed soft along the walls. She walked slow. Her steps echoed. Behind her the pit noise started again. But different now. Not cheers for blood. Talks of what happened. Talks of Earth. Talks of why the old quarantines existed. In the luxury boxes the coalition members sat heavy. Zekith stared at the empty arena. He remembered the cold feeling in his shell. It had not left. He turned to his friends. He said they must talk. They must warn others. They must remember why Earth stayed closed. One Arthak nodded slow. He said the stories were not just stories. They were warnings. The Quelth blob pulsed weak. It said maybe they should never have opened the cage. Far away on distant worlds, the footage spread. Screens showed the small figure against giants, showed the calm face in chaos, showed the words at the end. People watched in bars, in homes, in ships. They watched quiet. Some felt pride, some felt fear. Most felt both. Old files opened again. Class 12 Deathworld reports. Pictures of jungles full of teeth. Oceans that swallowed ships. Mountains that killed with cold. Creatures that hunted in packs. And the small bipeds who lived there. Who fought back. Who never stopped. One report said humans adapt. They learn. They endure. They turn weakness into weapon. Another said never underestimate. The soft skin hides iron inside. Mira reached the docking bay. A small shuttle waited. It belonged to a neutral trader. He agreed to take her home. No questions, no payment. She climbed inside. She sat in the chair. Her body hurt everywhere. But she felt something else. Something like peace. The pilot looked back. He said, "Where to?" She said, "Sol system, third planet Earth." He nodded. He started the engines. The shuttle lifted quiet. Through the station gates. Out into the black. Mira looked through the window. Stars burned bright. She thought of home, of green forests, of blue seas, of cities full of people like her, people who ran from danger, and ran toward it too. She closed her eyes. She rested at last. The galaxy behind her would not forget her name, and it would not forget why they once dreaded Earth. The shuttle jumped to light speed. It carried one tired fighter home, and a lesson that spread faster than light. The end of the show, the beginning of the memory. The small shuttle slipped away from Klyros Nexus like a shadow. Its engines hummed soft as it moved into open space. Inside, Mira sat alone in the passenger seat. Her new jumpsuit felt clean against her skin. The cuts still stung. Her ribs ached with every breath, but the pain felt distant now, like it belonged to someone else. The pilot kept quiet. He checked his screens once. Then he set the course for the Sol system, third planet. No need to ask again. He knew where home was for her. Mira looked out the small window. Stars stretched long in lines of light. The jump drive warmed up. A gentle push came. Then the stars snapped back to points. The shuttle floated in normal space again, far from the station, far from the pit. She closed her eyes. Images flashed behind her lids. The roar of the crowd, the smell of blood and metal, the weight of Vorath crashing down. Her own voice speaking words she never planned, words that came from deep inside, words the galaxy needed to hear. Nexus, the station buzzed, not with cheers now, with whispers, with hurried messages, with fear that spread quiet and fast. In the control room, the promoters counted credits. The numbers looked good, very good, but their faces looked bad. One wiped sweat from his brow. He said they made history. Another said they woke something old, something better left asleep. Zekith the Vexari left his luxury box. He walked fast through the corridors. His many legs clicked sharp. He sent tight beam messages to his contacts, to other traders, to clan leaders, to anyone who would listen. He told them what he saw: a small soft thing break giants, a calm face never crack, a voice that spoke of thousands of predators. He said the old quarantines existed for good reason. He said they should stay in place. On distant worlds, the footage played again and again. In cantinas on low-gravity moons, in council halls on crystal spires, in quiet homes under strange skies, people watched the human girl. They saw her dodge, saw her strike. They saw her rise after every fall. They heard her final words, and something shifted inside them. Old archives opened once more, dust-covered files from first contact days, reports marked urgent and sealed. One file showed scans of Earth, oceans full of teeth bigger than ships, forests where shadows moved hungry, plains where storms killed without warning, mountains cold enough to freeze blood. And through it all, small figures, humans, running toward the danger, learning from every scar, turning pain into power. Another file told of early battles, human ships, small and crude, yet they fought like cornered animals. They lost many, but they never stopped. They adapted, they built better, they spread. The galaxy saw that fire and decided to lock the door. Now the door cracked open again, not by force, by one girl in an arena, by her refusal to break. Mira opened her eyes. The shuttle neared the Sol system. Blue marble grew bigger in the window. Earth, home. In her chest. Not pride, not anger, just belonging. The pilot spoke for the first time. He said they would land soon. A small port in the Pacific Ring. Quiet place, no crowds. She nodded. She thanked him again. The shuttle dropped through clouds, white and thick. Then blue sea appeared below. Islands dotted the water, green and alive. The port came into view. Simple buildings, few ships. People waited on the platform. Not many, just enough. The shuttle touched down soft. The hatch opened. Warm air rushed in, salt and green and life. Mira stood slow. Her body protested, but she walked out anyway. A woman waited at the front, older, hair gray, eyes sharp like Mira's. She stepped forward. She said, "Welcome home." She said her name was Lena. She said she watched the feed. Everyone did. Mira looked at her. She tried to speak. Words stuck. Lena hugged her gentle, careful of the wounds. She said, "Rest now. The hard part is done." People gathered quiet. Some young, some old. All human. They did not cheer loud. They just stood close. They touched her shoulder. They said her name soft. Mira Voss. She walked with them. Slow steps on warm ground. Grass under her boots. Wind in her hair. Sun on her face. She felt small hurts heal a little. Far away, the galaxy talked. Some wanted stricter walls. Some wanted talks. Some wanted to meet humans again. But careful this time. Respectful this time. Traders stopped mocking Earth. Warriors stopped joking about soft skin. Children heard new stories, not of weak bipeds, but of the thing that survived everything, the thing that kept going. Mira sat by the sea that night. Waves rolled gentle. Stars came out bright. She thought of the pit, of the eyes that watched her, of the fear she saw in them. She smiled small, not cruel, just knowing. They wanted to see a Deathworlder girl fight. They saw one, and now they remembered why they dreaded Earth. Not because humans had claws, not because they had venom, but because humans had nothing. One. They had stubborn hearts. They had minds that learned. They had bodies that refused to quit. Earth stayed quiet, a blue dot in the dark, but the galaxy knew now. The quarantine was never enough, because the thing inside could not be caged forever. It just waited, patient, enduring, ready. Mira looked up at the stars. She felt no need to shout, no need to threaten. She just breathed the salt air and let the universe remember. Home, safe, alive. And if they ever forgot again, someone else would remind them. The way she did. The way humans always did.